welcome to another installment of the COVID-19 Chronicles here on GameboyTV. It is the evening of March 24th, and as you all know by now, cases of coronavirus continue to rise worldwide. The numbers as of 11 a.m. earlier today are on the graphic below. So, big news coming in today. The Dow Jones Industrial set a record gain of 2,112 points in the wake of the stimulus bill getting closer to getting passed. Now, just because it gained over 2,100 points doesn't mean squash if tomorrow these numbers plummet. As long as businesses aren't operating normally, Wall Street will continue this erratic pattern. Then the International Olympic Committee has decided to postpone the Tokyo Olympic Games until next year, which will give the world to recover economically and the athletes to regain their routine in preparation. This will mark the first time ever that the Olympics will happen during an odd year, 2021, which would mean that we will have back-to-back Olympic years because in 2022, the Winter Olympics will take place in Beijing. Now, on a personal note, this gives me time to try and muster enough money to go to Tokyo next year and experience it in person. Hey, a Nintendo fan plus the Olympics in Tokyo equals an epic win. So, in the last episode, I mentioned that I have been laid off from my job. Now, technically, I still am working for the company that laid me off through Google Hangouts because only a few students of mine had signed up to do distance learning, and so I have fallen back into contractor status, which means I'm not making as much as a regular employee would. For the last 2.5 years, I had worked at this private music studio as a piano teacher and had been making between roughly about $250 and $350 per paycheck for the last several months. I know it's not the best kind of income, but it's still better than nothing. I still love my profession as a pianist, and I will continue to teach music. Sooner than later, though, I do have to find a second career to complement my music, and I actually know what that second career will be. But I want to keep that a secret until the right time. But for the time being, though, I'm going to have to join the unemployment line, and since the site to apply is usually congested during the day, I figured I could wait maybe till about midnight, closer to 1 in the morning, to try and take care of all of this. And hopefully this process won't be as painful as I am making it out to be. Okay, so a disclaimer before we continue very quickly. This is all just for entertainment purposes. I would seriously not recommend you watching this if you are somebody who doesn't know a lick about how to go through the unemployment application process. I'm just like many people who have to go through this, and I myself have to learn on the fly just how to go about with the applications. So just take these next few minutes of footage as entertainment value, but perhaps maybe you could learn a little bit of something to help guide you, but ultimately do not follow this like exactly, because I may be explaining things that some vital information that only an expert could tell you more in depth. So with that in mind, let's continue. So you see on the screen in front of you my wallpaper on my laptop of Super Mario Maker 2, Mario and Luigi. I mean, it's all bright, creative, and colorful. And then we get to the gray, dull, and depressing. myunemployment.nj.gov. So this is for the state of New Jersey. Obviously, it's very different for each state. But again, this is all just a general overview of what to expect when you file for unemployment insurance benefits. But before we continue with that, I might as well just show you the latest numbers. 441,187 worldwide, 55,568 in the US alone. 111,933 have recovered. Unfortunately, it has resulted in now 19,784 total deaths. And this is as of 12:04 p.m. So numbers continue to rise at a staggering rate. Okay, so a lot of us have lost our jobs or have been temporarily laid off due to the coronavirus emergency. And it says here, applying online. In order to apply online for unemployment, I must have worked in New Jersey in the last 18 months, which obviously I have. And then all the other necessary information like Social Security, recall date, obviously that is pending upon the restrictions lifted. And then all the information regarding my employer. And then this page that this tab that I just switched to is important information due to the coronavirus emergency about collecting benefits. And so these are questions I believe that I will have to answer and when I actually get the application process going. And in order to do that, I need to make an account. So let me just stop the camera here and get that taken care of. Okay, so I had just completed creating my account, and now it's time for me to actually go through with the application process. Just for the sake of privacy, obviously I'm gonna do this off camera, and I don't know if you'd want to see me plug in, my own personal information. That would be too crazy. Okay, so now I am sending. Okay, I got my confirmation number. You have successfully filed your New Jersey unemployment insurance claim. You'll receive notification of when and how to claim your benefits. Take note of the confirmation number listed below. Okay. Best to take a picture of this. My printer is not behaving properly, so I will have to just do it this way. Okay. Complete the process. Click continue to below to view reemployment orientation and follow instructions. Confirmation date and time. Okay. All right. Now we wait. I hate to put it this way, folks, but even when we start going back to work and get our ducks in a row once again, life as we know it going forward has changed forever. But you probably already knew that. To be more specific, whatever was starting to wane within the last 3 to 4 years is probably not going to come back. And if it does, it is not going to be the same as it was prior to this pandemic. In fact, I was speaking to a friend over how this virus, or more so, the panic over this virus, is going to change the landscape of our daily living in the long term. And basically, he came to the conclusion that the death knell is sounding for the movie theater industry and the gaming industry, specifically involving GameStop. With parts of the nation with a stay at home order, obviously no seats are filling up in these movie theaters. And with Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime on a rapid incline, instantly bringing in new, fresh TV shows and movies to your home, the coronavirus crisis gives companies like them the opportunity to capitalize. So any current movie that has already been released, Amazon Prime has made available to stream already, such as Disney Pixar's Onward, The Hunt, and The Invisible Man. Then we come to GameStop. Anyone who is remotely a gamer at all can see right through their financial issues like Swiss cheese. Everyone knew GameStop was on its deathbed. From employees being mistreated to the oversaturation of unwanted products in their stores, GameStop is making desperate attempts just to keep themselves a relevant name in this rapidly metamorphosizing world. I mean, just look at what is in their stores nowadays. Products that are not directly related to video games like Funko Pop figures. And when you trade in video games and you expect like $50 worth of old video games, and you end up only getting a fin, $5. And then we get to the worst of them all. Staying open amidst the COVID-19 crisis because they claim that they are just as an essential business that should remain open, along with markets, medical offices, post offices, and hospitals. I mean, that has got to be an all-time low for a company like GameStop. They chose profits over safety of others. I mean, let's put aside all arguments about how the pandemic has been handled. In the end, we all have to put up with it. It's the fact that they were focusing solely on profits because they know that they're never going to open back up once we've overcome the pandemic. There is nothing that can save GameStop now. The worst that movie theaters has done was just simply inflate the prices at the concession stand. But still, movie theaters will most certainly not be what they are at the end of this year and beyond. Live sporting events, concerts, festivals, including film festivals, those are events that will bounce back rapidly. But knowing that streaming services are offering blockbuster movies that you can buy for a relatively reasonable price spells trouble for the cinema. I don't think movie theaters are going to be 100% obsolete, but the majority of people will now prefer watching from their home theater system. And as far as gaming is concerned, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation have been doing online purchasing for a decade now. I'm sorry, GameStop, but you have no more continues, and you're just one hit away from game over. It's a beautiful day to be out here, folks. I'm at one of my local parks near where I live. Out there you see is the bay, the Raritan Bay to be exact, and that piece of land that's over there in the distance, that's Staten Island. Temperature out here today on this March March 26th. Just roughly under 60 degrees, but man, with that sun shining, it's feels much warmer than that. And that's what I hope to see. You know, some better days out here. But as I was pulling up to the park today, there's just a lot of people who are going out and about. Obviously, people, you know, going about their usual as if this was a weekend. Obviously, it's only Thursday, but hey, without any work, I guess pretty much a weekday is a weekend. Well, anyway, I'm just perched up on these rocks. I'm just gonna turn the camera briefly to show, but I just got my mask on, and I'm not gonna be talking to you directly. Instead, I'm just gonna provide you with some eye candy shots of the beach, of the rocks. But I have the mask on just because there's a lot of people in this park today, and since the flowers have been blooming lately, there's obviously a lot of pollen scattered around. And the last thing I want to do is go on a sneezing fit and have people think that I'm coming down with something bad when I don't. But I just wanted to just give you the updates, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start walking around here, give you the latest numbers, and then when I go back home, we'll do some arithmetic and see how much has changed since the last time I measured, you know, the 3-day period of the number of cases and the number of deaths and recoveries. Today, as of 12:15 p.m., 495,086 people, total cases worldwide, 69,684 in the U.S. alone, resulting in 22,295 deaths and 119,978 total recovered. But I want to just give you a little bit of an update on the whole unemployment. I want to be able to follow up on what I did yesterday. I can honestly say that a huge weight has been lifted off of my chest, and I just hope that I don't have to rely on the unemployment benefits for the long term, that I can just go back to work and you know, get all my clients back and start making some more income again. So once again, this will just be a short overview of what I had. When I went through the process, the first couple of steps were just pretty straightforward. And it was a 7-step process. Basically asking you for your mailing and email address, ethnicity, race, and are you the breadwinner of the family? Meaning, am I the person who was making the primary income in the household, which obviously I wasn't. My parents are. And of course, are you a citizen of the United States? And then we came to the more difficult questions, such as if I wanted a 10% federal income tax withheld from my income, and then claiming dependency allowance. Now, with a 10% federal tax withheld, I just simply didn't know what the purpose of it was and why that was a question. Obviously, didn't think I'd have to do this this early in my life. But basically, you know, am I going to get 10% taken away from my benefits to the federal government? And I answered no to that question. And then as far as claiming dependency allowance, should have been an easy question for me, actually. But I often get confused with it because I didn't know if it meant people who depend on me or me depending on other people. And obviously now I know that a dependent would be somebody
who depends on me for income, so I answered no to that one. By the way, I want to retract the federal tax withheld. I did answer yes to that. I think I might have just misspoke there by saying no, but I ended up doing that. As you see, I don't know if you could see a bunch of ducks there in a row. Just gonna keep walking in here. I hope I don't get weird looks. So question 4, steps 4 and 5 were all about my employment, basically, asking me about how long I worked there for, what was the reason for my departure, and the only thing that was a little confusing about that portion was just because I might be unemployed only because of the fact that I don't have the same number of weekly students. That just basically means that I've been demoted back to contractor status, but obviously I had to fill out that section as if I was somebody who lost their job, business hours reduced, or the business closed. All that kind of stuff was asked of me on the questionnaire. And then step 5 was about disability and pension. That didn't apply to me too much, and so that was a pretty easy step to go through. And then finally, step 6 was just simply a review of everything that I answered from steps 1 to 5. Make sure I review it and make the necessary changes. And then step 7 was receiving my confirmation number, which was a really good thing for me to have, given that I spent a huge portion of my day trying to navigate through the unemployment website. So now all I gotta do is just wait. It's a wait and see process at this point. I'm supposed to get a boatload of stuff in the mail over the next few days or maybe a week or so. So yeah, we'll see what goes on from there moving forward.